Like it? How about this one?
That I didn't see coming. Thanks for tuning in to Game On Online Gaming Radio. Today is Monday, October 22nd. And I'm your host for the night, Trueflight. And here with me is...
Zanadi.
And hopefully this is going to be our last pre-recorded show, I think.
I would have to check the calendar.
Anyway, we got a good show for you this week. A lot of things to talk about. Normally we'll be doing the show live. You can join us in our IRC hosted by globalgamers.net. By heading on over to www.onlinegamingradio.com and clicking on the Chat Live button in the top right corner of the page. It'll open a Mibit IRC client, which will take you right to us. Also, you can always reach us by email with your questions, comments, and suggestions. I'm Trueflight at onlinegamingradio.com.
And I'm Zanadi at onlinegamingradio.com.
We have lots of different topics to talk about this week. A few of them here on my list. The Democratic state senator in Maine, the fact that WoW got hacked last week, EQ2's new expansion, some news on the Prosiebensat 1 deal. SoE had their fanfare this weekend, so we got a lot of information that came from there. A couple new games that are coming. EQ2 and Guild Wars 2 both got their Halloween updates, and I thought I had more, but that's all I got on my list. Well, we'll start with you, Zan. What have you been doing this last week?
Besides working?
That too.
That seems to be all I ever do. I've been dabbling around in Guild Wars 2, but that's about it.
Getting frustrated by Broken Quest.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated with it. I'm not a patient person. When I want to go do something, I want to do it now. Not a week from now when they decide to fix it.
I'm like one quest away from being stuck on the same part.
This still gives you one more to do, though. I'm
True.
annoyed.
Let's see. I actually tried and played a few rounds of World of Tanks this week. Getting the hang of the new stuff. Still don't like the new layouts. Of course, played some Guild Wars 2, trying to catch up with Zan. She got ahead of me, but I'm also running 2 characters where she's really only got 1. That's pretty much it for gaming. It was a slow week.
I
2
did
weeks.
start a new character in Guild Wars, I just haven't played her.
Well, that kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Well, I got too interested in my other one to want to keep going.
You switch guilds.
I switched guilds because I made a guild. I run my own now.
The Phoenix Coalition Spelldraw.
Yeah, that... You know what? We're unique. And unfortunately, until they get back to my Hope ticket, we're really unique.
Well, see, the full story on that is she spelled Phoenix wrong to begin with. Then went through and fixed...
Wait. No, wait.
Yes.
I spelled... No, wait. No, you need the whole story. I spelled the guild name correctly in the game. When I made the website and got the web address, that's when I misspelled Phoenix.
Ah.
So everything in game, when I originally created the guild, was correct. And that's why I noticed, I'm like, wait a minute. That's when I noticed that.
And now they will forever be known as the Phoenix Colon.
No, it's more like Colion. Because somewhere in the last 3 or 4 days, it seems to be, it was right in the morning, and by evening, apparently we lost it. And by it, I mean specifically it, it's gone. Out of the word coalition. I have no idea where it went. Just poof, it's gone.
I think it's just a funny inside joke that your guild lost it.
Yeah, we did, and that's exactly what I'm going to put on there. We lost it. Unfortunately, support and help in Guild Wars 2 is not the greatest.
I think that's the price you pay between a pay-to-play game and a free-to-play game.
Right, which is exactly why I'm not complaining about it. I'm not paying for this, and it's really not that huge of a deal. So I did submit a bug, and I asked them if they could possibly fix it. And honestly, if they can't, we're in a unique. Because let me tell you, my members are unique. We are a very unique bunch.
That's for sure.
So we may end up being the Phoenix Coalition rather than the Coalition.
I have to say the whole system for guilds in Guild Wars 2 is a lot different than what we're used to.
Very much so.
Because in order to access different, even the guild bank, for example, you have to build up the reputation of the guild by doing quests, by completing events. There's notes you get from helping out certain people that you can use. And then you use that to purchase all these different abilities for your guild. And of course some of them need other things to unlock. Like I wanted to get an emblem for mine, and in order to get an emblem I had to get level 1 in politics. So I had to spend what's the actual term for that? Influence, yeah. I had to spend the guild influence to build up our guild politics in order to buy an emblem.
But I'll tell you though, this was just supposed to be an alt guild, really, because it was just a bunch of us, we called ourselves refugees, from other games that, we're all friends and we're just kind of traveling from one game to the next. And we all came over here and we were all trying to find a guild and couldn't find one, so I finally just said, you know what? Why don't we just make what we want? So I put us all together, and it was supposed to be kind of an alt thing, and everybody seems to be really getting into this whole build the influence thing. So, everyone's been on more than I expected, and we had a great time just talking in and out of character last night, and it might go a bit further than I expected.
It's always good. Let's get to our first topic. I thought I had cut and pasted notes, but apparently I only cut the whole link. So let's go to the link here. There was a story in the news about a week ago about a Democratic Senate candidate in Maine who it came out that she's a World of Warcraft player, and it became this big, huge ordeal. Yes, I said it on the show. But yeah, it became this big ordeal that she's a game player, and she spends her free time, playing this game, and as they called it, let me get the exact wording here.
Well, obviously she's going to hell.
Yeah, the exact wording was, one of the Republican people were investigating it and came up with, they discovered that she enjoys playing online role-playing game World of Warcraft, and on Thursday they launched a campaign to out what they are calling her disturbing alter ego and bizarre double life, because she's a gamer. Ooh.
Doesn't that describe probably 90% of people?
Oh, they went on to be worse. They took quotes out of context from game.
You mean, oh my god, she's a normal human being?
My guess from what the article went on about was that someone actually made a character, met up with her character in-game, and then they took a bunch of quotes from in-game out of character, which anybody who plays an online game has heard the type of things you say in-game. I'm trying to find some of the actual quotes they had from her, because they actually had some real quotes in here. Something about her liking to stab things and poison. She plays an assassin. I wish I could find him. It's a big long article.
Yes,
I thought I took
we
notes.
all know that playing a game should be, flowers and roses and cupcakes.
Yeah, the great quote from her is, "The whole thing's just so weird," she said, sounding flustered. "It's just so weird that this is even an issue."
Yeah, it really is.
But on the positive side, they said that by this coming out, the fact that she does play games and is a gamer, that pretty much guaranteed her the vote of anybody who's out there voting who happens to also be a gamer.
I don't doubt it. The way that, I mean, I don't think they look at us as bad as they used to. And I kind of mean everybody else. But you still have that, oh my God, you're a gamer. You must neglect your children and you know, you're fat and pimply and you sit in your chair and you know, that's all you ever do. No.
Yeah, it was just an interesting article. I'll actually post a link to the article if you haven't seen it. You can Google too, and I'm sure you'll find tons of stuff about it. But yeah, it's funny. Just being a gamer, automatically they assume is a negative thing.
Most people do.
On the same note of the game that shall not be named, again.
That, you know, I think that's about all that I really could hold against her.
Was it 2 weeks ago? What's the date on this? Oh, so it actually happened the day before we did our last show. So we just missed this one. But someone hacked the World of Warcraft servers. And
I heard about that. And I have to say, as much as I actually joke about, you know, the dreaded game that should not be named, it really, I mean, if that's your thing,
yeah, I mean,
more power to you.
We pick on it all the time, but I look at it this way: what if it had happened to your game, the game that you play? So, but yeah, they hacked in.
It has happened to our game, so I can definitely sympathize.
Well, this one was a little different. In our case, EQ2, what was it, 2 years ago, got hacked, and they got a hold of player account information, and everybody had to change their passwords and all that fun stuff. This one wasn't quite the same. They hacked in the game, they changed the coding somehow so that they could basically one-shot attack and kill everyone. Kind of like a power word kill. But it wasn't just players, they did it to everyone. Every NPC in entire towns they wiped out. And there's a couple videos and clips and everything online of it. On the positive side, they said they're taking it very seriously because it was an exploit and they're investigating, so hopefully something will come out of that. Still, like I said, doesn't matter what game it's from, it sucks when it happens.
It majorly sucks, but you know what? At least they got right on top of it, and it could have been a whole lot worse. I mean, we saw what happened with EQ2.
Yep.
I mean, they shut us down for, what, a month and a half?
Something like that.
Many of us went into withdrawals and twitches, and we might have needed therapy. Some of us actually turned to, like, other games and stuff.
Blasphemy.
It really was. It was terrible.
Okay, on to more lighthearted news. Not sure what number they're up to now, but EQ2 announced its newest expansion, Chains of Eternity. It's coming in November. I don't have the exact date. I know they did announce it at Fan Faire this weekend. And yes, for everybody who's discussed it, I still will always call it Fan Faire.
I can't call it anything else. It's just too weird.
I refuse to.
Were there really even... And I really hate to say it, but no, I'm gonna. Were there really even enough people there to call it anything else?
There was quite a few. Not as many as I think there have been the last few years.
I want to say about 3/4 of the people that we generally go down there to see were not there.
Yeah, that was kind of disappointing.
And that's one of the reasons I go down is not only for the panels and whatnot, but to see all of our friends. And the timing on this, for whatever reason that they decided to have in October, the timing was terrible.
On the positive side, since not everybody went, it wasn't all that big of a loss.
This is true. Because if everybody got to go except me,
yeah, that would have sucked.
I would throw a tantrum beyond tantrum, and you would have had to live with me, and it wouldn't have been good. He would have found a way to ship me down there.
There, I played with my mic a little bit. I think I got rid of some of that background static, and hopefully it's not too quiet.
Sound okay to me.
Alright. Where'd we leave off? Oh, we were talking about the new expansion. I did get some cool information on that. I'm sure there's more current information out there now, thanks to the Fan Faire being this weekend, but what I can tell you about it is it's coming in November. It'll include up to Destiny of Velios, but will not include Age of Discovery. So you basically get all the previous expansions except for Age of Discovery, which was their feature one that had the Beast Lords and all that stuff, Mercs. Which I still think is kind of lame. It doesn't come with that, but you're getting new prestige abilities. They were introduced with the last Age of Discovery, actually. Or no, they came with the Sky Shrine update when the level cap went up. Prestige trade skills, which again, I'm sure there's more information on these now. This one's the one that caught my eye. Organic adornments. They didn't say what colors, there's more information about them now, but they're basically an adornment that you put on your equipment, and they gain levels as you use them. And they get stronger and stronger, so the longer you keep the same adornment, it levels up with you.
I can't say I've ever changed out my adornments, so...
But you change equipment that the adornments are attached to.
Right.
How often do you strip them off and reuse them? Because I think the only way to do that right now is with an LON card or a station cache item.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't.
So this will give you some kind of incentive to actually keep them around. They raised all the caps to 95. Guild level cap is now 95. Adventure level cap is 95. And the trade skill cap is 95.
We've been waiting for guild level to go up.
Yep. The areas they announced were the Obel Plains. It says, discover the real ether near and the mysterious Obel Plains, where an imbalance in the realm of the afterlife is apparent in all the surroundings and inhabitants. And on the same note, they also introduced the, I'm going to mispronounce this, but the Eidolon Jungle. Eidolon. You pronounce it.
No, I know better. The pronunciation police will get you.
And it says every area of Norath has its own home in the Etherneer. Adventure through the amazing transformed lands of the Ferrat as it exists in the afterlife. Yes, your least favorite zone they redid.
Seriously.
I'm assuming by the way that's
game. I don't know why, but that zone. Any zone but that one.
I'm assuming by the way that's worded that they're going to include pretty much, or they can include pretty much any zone in the game as a Etherneer version, which will give them a lot of easy content to make and put out quickly, in theory. They also announced a couple other zones at Fan Faire, which I don't have notes on because we weren't there. So
I can say, because I was a little upset that I wasn't there, I didn't really watch too much of the updates or live feeds and such they had. That and with you trying to watch them, me trying to watch them at the same time would have been difficult.
I tried to watch. They had some horrible sound issues on a couple of them. It just made it impossible. It was pretty much watching the video and just taking notes on what popped up on the screens. What else did they say? There's 9 new instance dungeons. All new dungeons with unique and exciting encounters and loot. Pre-sales are up right now. You can get a standard edition for $39.99, which comes with the Cloak of Mourning, the Drinal Scythe replica, and 2 Scrolls of Resurrection. And then there's the Collector's Edition, which is $89.99. It was on sale for $59.99. I don't know how long that sale was going to last, though. And that comes with the Cloak, the Scythe replica, 2 Scrolls of Resurrection, a 6-hour 100% XP potion, 2 portal globes of Swiss transportation, 2 health potions, 2 power potions, a Friona Vi memorial tapestry, and a werewolf merc.
Werewolf!
I believe I heard a rumor from Fan Faire that the merc can be either a healer or a fighter. You get to pick when you claim it. Now, from the box art they've shown, and from the fact that you're getting a Cloak of Mourning, and there's a Friona Vi memorial tapestry, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Friona Vi dies in this expansion. Because even the box art is her laying in a field of flowers.
You might be onto something.
And there's a weird shadow over top of her. Everybody's been arguing in the forums over what the shadow is. But anyway, EQ1's also getting a new expansion.
EQ1, I guess, is still going quite strong.
Yeah.
I never got into that one as much. I
tried it once, but after
and
playing EQOA and EQ2 for years, it just didn't hold up.
Yeah, I couldn't. I did try.
And Planetside 2 announced their release. I thought it was entertaining that they're going to have EQ2, EQ1, and Planetside all coming out in November. It's going to be a busy month.
Sounds it.
Positive news. See, I always like it when there's something positive to report.
Yay.
The Prosiebensat forced migration for players of SoE games is pretty much dead. The deal between SoE and Prosiebensat is still going through, but they've changed it so that if you want, you can stay with the SoE servers. The exact quote from Smedley says, "We found a way to let existing players of our current games that are migrating over to Proseb keep their SoE accounts and stay with SoE. Down the road, we may offer the option to move over to Proseb." Now, on that side note, it mentions EQ, EQ2, and Planetside 2. There's no mention of Vanguard and all those, and what's the other? DCUO, which already transferred. Good news. I'm sure a lot of Bureau players will be happy. The downside is it too late?
Yeah, but they've already upset so many people with it that it might be, just too late with it.
It's a lot of SoE news, mostly because of the fanfare. Another big thing for SoE, it's starting with EverQuest 2, and then it's going to go to other games, is the Kronos. And I started telling you about these. A Kronos is an in-game object that can be redeemed for a 30-day membership in the following games: EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, Vanguard. Oh, that's it. Says they also can be sold in the marketplace for real money only. Or they're sold in the marketplace for real money only, or they can be purchased from other players via the broker or private trading for in-game currency. Players, however, may not sell Kronos to each other for real-world money. And the idea is it's basically a tradable item you pay for. You get the item in-game. It can be redeemed for a 30-day subscription, or you can sell it, trade it, give it to other players, and they can either use it themselves for 30 days subscription or sell it, trade it, whatever. It's basically a legalized form of selling game cards. Now there is a catch. The Kronos sell for $17.99, where a normal game card was only $14.99.
I suppose if you want to do it that way, you kind of eat the cost of the extra.
Well, as they put it, it's basically a legalized way to do it, and you can't get screwed over because you're still using the in-game broker system, and there's already, safeguards built into that to keep you from getting screwed out of what you paid for.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess everybody who went to Fanfare, they gave one of them to. So we'll see them coming on the market anytime. I think it took about a month after last year's Fanfare before we got our items.
Yeah, it did take a little bit.
It says, yes, they're tradable. They can be transferred between your own characters using the trading window, shared bank slots, and in-game mail. They do not expire. And they are not transferable between games. That's a big one. So once you redeem them in a game, they're stuck in that game.
Yeah, that would make a mess between games, I'm thinking.
And it says you consume them just like you would drink a potion. There is a limit that you can only buy up to 25 per day. I'm sure that's to stop credit card fraud. Somebody gets your number and goes and buys as many of them as possible. Yeah, I thought those were kind of cool.
They're interesting. There's definitely a lot going on in EQ2, and well, like you said, Sony itself.
Then again, it was Sony's conference this weekend, so of course a lot of this stuff is Sony related. Oh, there we go. I have the exact date. Why did I write down the exact date for Planetside, but not for EverQuest 2?
That seems awful strange, but hey, who knows?
Planetside 2 launches on November 20th, 2012. What else do I have on here? Kronos. With EQ2's new expansion, they're giving... This has been a big controversial subject since they first announced it. I think it was Friday. And with the expansion comes an item. You get 2 of them per account. Not 1 per character. It's 2 per account. So if you have 2 characters, you're fine. If you have 20 characters, guess what? You got to pick who gets them. But it lets you... If you are level 90, you use this item and it automatically bumps you to 280 AAs so that you can continue leveling.
The only problem I see with that is, you know what? What about the rest of us?
Who worked for months grinding AA to get our characters. What I see it useful for is people like me or you who have 20 different alts. Currently only have 2 characters in game that are above level 90 because they needed the AAs, and I got tired of grinding AAs. So for me, it's going to be nice because I can bump a couple of those other characters up and keep going. The problem I saw with it is what's to prevent someone from grinding somebody to level 90 at 0% AA just so they can get there, and literally it'll take them a night or 2, and then use that item and get 280 free AAs. So I wish there was some kind of way to limit its use, but I think the fact that they limited them to 2 per account is better than 1 per character, because that way I could see getting way over abused.
Yeah, frankly, there's a way to abuse everything, so...
Yep. I appreciate the ability to be able to do that on my alts. It just kind of annoys me for all the work I put on my main.
Yeah. Well... I don't really want to say, because I don't really want to be negative as I usually am about EQ2 anymore, but it's just there again that all the time that I've spent grinding my characters and getting them up there is, again, my time was wasted.
Yep, but on Sony's defense, I see why they're doing it, because again, the last expansion, the Belios,
forced you to have the 280.
Yeah, well, you had to be up there, and then you had to be 90-ish to even take part in the content. I think it was 85 or 86 you had to be in order to do anything in Belios. And then Sky Shrine came out, and in order to advance past level 90, you had to be 280 AAs. And now they're doing another expansion, which requires you to be, 90 plus again. So they're trying to make it easier for people who aren't yet there. Because what's the point in buying a level 90, 93 through 95 expansion if you can't get past level 90?
Right, which I can understand. I mean, they're worried about their sales and stuff about it, but... And I can understand not putting out low-level content like they used to. The game is old enough now where most everyone has at least 1 high-level character. People
Yes,
have
I'm
been
typing.
playing so long they don't want that low stuff, but I just get a little annoyed with things that I feel like I've worked so hard for, and the new kid on the block can just walk onto the game and get what took me 7 years to get.
On to something a little different. They announced a brand new game at Fan Faire this weekend. Sony partnered up with GameSpot. Anyway, they're bringing Wizardry Online. The open beta starts today. No, next week.
They
Next Monday.
didn't tell us a whole lot about that one, did they?
They showed a lot of screenshots. There's a little trailer video. The graphics look kind of in between realish and cartoonish. The big thing for it is it's the die-hard, free-to-play, hardcore MMO. And by hardcore, I mean truly, truly hardcore. If you die in Wizardry Online, your character is dead. As they call it, permadeath. You die, you roll a new character.
I think that can work with them, and I think that can work against them.
I see, especially being free to play, I see a lot of low levels getting trolled by people just making throwaway accounts to go around and get people killed. But I think once you get into the higher levels, it's going to be a lot a lot more die-hard fans who are going to be a lot more picky and choosy about who they join in their groups.
Well, that's just it. I'm wondering how much fun somebody's going to have when the whole game becomes more of a competition than, because what's going to happen is you're going to have people who they're only going to want the best, and there's no lighthearted fun sort of thing. Because if you die, you've lost how much work that you put into your character.
Mm-hmm. Says from the insanely
stop people from adventuring even because they're not going to want to go out and take a chance on things.
Says from the insanely difficult, complex mazes to the unrelenting mobs and traps around every turn, even the best RPG players will find this to be the ultimate challenge. With the risk of permadeath always looming, players will group with trusted allies to survive. Using skill-based combat and a little bit of luck, players battle to defeat amazing anime creatures, cheat death, and live to tell the world.
That's definitely going to be interesting. It's something I'm definitely going to look into. They have definitely piqued my interest with it.
But, yeah, the beta starts next Monday, and they're taking applications on the website for beta people. Or everybody who went to Fan Faire also got a free beta invite. The graphics look pretty cool. It's definitely on par with Guild Wars 2 as far as graphics go.
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed with the graphics and stuff that are coming out of the updated games and new games. But we've always said that graphics don't make a game, and I still stick by that.
But they do make it a little more pretty to look
They
at.
help.
I still play Nintendo games and Atari games, so I'm one who can vouch for the fact that graphics don't necessarily make a game.
I've got an active imagination.
I will still go back and play my 8-bit Final Fantasy 1 because it's still one of the best ones. What else do we have on here? They had some really cool Planetside 2 videos. I think they were player-made, actually, from the beta. They showed a few. I'll put some links in the show notes to them. Somebody took a World War II recordings about the beach landings, and then took some footage from the game and made it look real antique with scratches in the film and things, and it's almost a black and white, and then dubbed the World War II audio over it. It was a really cool video. I'm actually looking forward to trying that one out. The other new SoE release, Dragon's Prophet. This is the one I think I showed you. It looks very EQ2-ish. I would almost be willing to bet they reused some models.
Probably.
Because I swear the one dragon they use in the one trailer for it looks exactly like one of the ones from EQ2. It's another one that's going to be free to play. So I think Sony's finally catching on to the whole free-to-play thing. I do like the way that Guild Wars 2 went. There's been other games before that. Was the fact you buy the game and then it's free to play. I'm not so sold on the ones that are completely free. I mean, I play World of Tanks. That's how that was. That's how Vindictus was. And the nice thing about those is you can try it, and if you don't like it, you're not out on anything.
Yeah, but you know what? The same thing goes for when originally they put out EQ2. There was a 7-day trial, or
yeah, that's true.
You know, so I mean, I think that more than makes up for. You know, so something like that put out for a game.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm just not big on the month
or whatnot. You know, then go buy.
I'm just not big on the monthly pay to play now that there's so many other games out there that don't have monthly fees.
When I can get as much enjoyment out of a game I don't have to pay for monthly, I can't justify me actually paying for one that is.
I don't have a lot of information on the Dragon's Prophet game. Coming out in 2013. It says there's over 300 unique dragons that roam the land. You can fight, capture, train, and ride them in order to unlock unique skills and abilities.
Woohoo!
It did look kind of cool. I'm looking forward to seeing more about it. There's a couple videos up on their website. So definitely check that out. What else do we have? I know Knights of the Dead have gone live in EverQuest 2. Didn't get a chance to do much of it yet.
Yeah, I think this is the first year that I'm missing it.
On the same note, going live, is it today or tomorrow? Did I write it down? Of course I didn't write it down.
It would be on the 22nd if you're talking about the Guild Wars one.
Yes, Guild Wars 2's Shadow of the Mad King.
It'll be on the 22nd, which is the day this is actually going to air for us. I know because I've been watching and waiting because my my patch comes on the 22nd with that update.
And there's 4 different events that are actually entitled or combined in the Guild Wars 2 Halloween event, and each one has its own starting date. Basically, as time goes on, more and more gets activated. Yeah,
I'm having a problem with their forums right now, so...
I thought I saved this stupid thing, and I can't find it.
I haven't been able to get on to get so much information.
I swore I saved it, and now I can't find the stupid link. But anyway, that looks like a lot of fun. There's some cool stuff in there. They got a neat little video up, because it has a calendar that lists each one. There we go. First one begins October 22nd, which will be today. Second one is October 26th, which is Friday. Act 3 starts October 28th, which is Sunday. And then Act 4 starts on the 31st, which is Wednesday, which is actually Halloween. And they run through November 5th. And there's a couple interesting, cool things in there. There's going to be some stuff in the gem store that you can buy, Halloween costumes and things. I like the skins that you can put as a appearance over your weapons. They showed a couple. There's one that looks like a steam-powered chainsaw, which is just awesome. So looking forward to seeing that. Halloween from a different perspective.
Yeah, since it's my all-time favorite holiday, we'll have to see how they measure up.
There you go.
See if they can impress me with it.
Like I said, unfortunately I didn't check out the EverQuest one too much. I know they had some weird looking unicorns that I saw. They were like all gem covered, which of course I can't find.
Never when you want something.
Nope. Well, everything got pushed up by so many fanfare posts. Knights of the Dead. There we go. I knew I had it somewhere. They had a new Ghost Hunter competition in the Common Lands in Antonica. There was a Knights of the Dead devotee quest. They had a new reward this year, which was a jack-o'-lantern pet that follows you around.
I'm not sure I'd want a jack-o'-lantern following me around. Really, that seems kind of creepy to me.
New Knights of the Dead treats, the candy that you use for crafting and whatnot, drop from the Sky Shrine, Witherlands, Kronos, and Freeport Undead. There's new illusions for the costumes. New costume illusions at the merchants. New rewards for some of the old Knights of the Dead quests. There was a The Haunting quest, which is repeatable daily. This Won't End Well quest, which is repeatable yearly. There will be Ghosts, which is a repeatable one. A Nightmarish Return, which is a repeatable one. Train the Zone is a repeatable daily quest. That one was kind of fun. Survive the Night, which is a repeatable once a year. You get a Moldering Mummy armor wrap set for that one. Oh, it's a new choice. Some of the other new choices, there's a new Ghoulish Night of the Dead banner. Carrion Beetle. Hollowed Banner of the Hedge. Scarecrow and Cave Spider plushie. You can buy new house items from the Night of the Dead merchant. And new recipes from the merchant.
I might have to go in at least to get the recipes, because I've never missed a holiday to do that. At least one of my girls at least has all of them.
I think that was all the notes I had. I picked up the dungeon expansion for Munchkin. The kids are loving that. Played a couple games using it now. Basically changes the dungeon you're in, gives monsters bonuses or treasure bonuses. It's kind of fun. Adds a new twist.
I
Except
still like my vampires.
we got stuck in the same dungeon for like half a game once. Couldn't get any of the cards to switch. Also picked up Zombie Dice. Hasn't got delivered yet. I'm still waiting for that one. So we'll have a nice review of that one. Very simple, fun game. I talked about it last show, I think. And I sold a bunch of HeroClix online on eBay. I had a ton of rares sitting in a box somewhere. Nobody around here wants them, so I put them on there and actually made quite a bit of money. So I'll be using that to pick up some new stuff too.
I can't say I got into that. You've got the kids playing now.
What, Munchkin?
No, HeroClix.
Oh, HeroClix, yeah. And we played a few Ascension games too. I don't think you've played that with us yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Boo. And you call yourself a gamer.
No, I don't believe I ever called me a gamer.
Oh, hey. I can't believe I didn't put this on my notes. One of the big things I've been waiting all week to do. The Mechwarrior Online Beta NDA was lifted. I can talk about my game.
There you go.
You sound thrilled. I thought you were excited about that game.
If I get time to play it.
The one thing I gotta say I'm disappointed, but I expected wholeheartedly, is that being a beta, when this new phase of beta started, they wiped our characters. And they're going to do it again when the game launches, I'm sure. So,
isn't that kind of expected when it comes to betas?
yeah, it's a beta test. It happens every time. So, but there's a lot of people upset that they spent the last few months in beta working up and building up money and building up cool mechs, and then all of a sudden they log in and, hey, where'd everything go?
I heard that I will be able to decorate the inside of my mech as well as the outside.
Yeah, they haven't actually added that yet, but it has been talked about. And
I need my pink fuzzy dice.
Yep, there's fuzzy dice you can hang in there. There's a little bobblehead Hawaiian doll you can get to sit on the dashboard. It's kind of funny.
I just need my pink fuzzy dice.
You can also customize the outside with different paint jobs, logos for your clan or unit if you're Inner Everything's Inner right now because when the game launches, it's going to be pre-clan invasion. Although their plan is to stick to the timeline in real time between game and the story. And if that's the case, not long after launch is going to be the beginning of the clan invasion. So I'm curious if they're going to push that back or if they're going to stick with the timeline as they're doing it, which means there's going to be a big add-on expansion not long after launch. But as it stands right now, it's a pretty fun game. Takes a little to get used to the controls. If you play with a joystick, it is a lot different. Anybody who's used joysticks in mech games in the past will feel pretty at home.
Yeah, that's how I have to do it.
Yeah, I try to play with mouse and keyboard, and it takes a lot of getting used to because things like the throttle is a set. In older games, you used to have to hold it down. In this game, you basically have an accelerate or decelerate button, and you accelerate to where you want it, and then just leave it, and you'll stay at that speed. So yeah, it does take some getting used to. I played with both mouse and keyboard and joystick, and the joystick is a lot easier for me, at least. But I also played Mechwarrior for 10 years with a joystick, so...
Yeah, I can't. I honestly don't think I could play any other way. I'll have to find a way to...
Sadly, since they reset, I don't have any money to buy my own mechs right now. I'm almost got enough to buy my Raven, which is my pride and joy. But they have been... they give us 4 mechs each month or so that are basically trial ones that we can mess around with. But we can't swap... We can't swap out any of the gear on them. You have to basically use what's on them. And they had a Raven in there not too long ago. I didn't like the loadout on it, but it was pretty fun to play. I can't wait till I get mine and I can build it the way I want it. The Mech Lab's a little complicated. It is more like Mechwarrior 3. If people are more familiar, 4 and 5, well, no, it was 4 and then the expansion to 4. Pretty much everything was Omni slots and they were color coded. You could take a weapon off, put something on. It's a lot more complex than that. In Mechwarrior 3, they actually used more of a tabletop-like reference, where you have critical points and certain things can only go in certain slots. And you have to have weapons in one spot. You have to have ammo in a spot. If you don't put the cases for your ammo, if your ammo explodes, you might lose the whole torso, depending on where your ammo is. So it's a little more in-depth in that part, but you can always use the pre-made ones.
I usually get your help.
The pre-made mechs usually follow Battletech standards, stuff straight out of the mech manuals. The downside to that is in an online game environment, everybody tends to boat their favorite weapons. I mean, I was famous for that in Mechwarrior 4 when we used to play 3v3. We did team battle, which is scored on damage inflicted, and I would take as many streaks as I could mount on a mech just so I could run in, do damage, and then run away. So things like that, people are going to have better loadouts if you stick to stock mechs. They're going to outgun you. But yeah, the customization's part of the fun. At least I think so. You can make it as complicated or as uncomplicated as you want. I believe they're even introducing endosteel and ferrous fiber armor here soon.
I just ask you.
So it's cool. It's got a lot of customization. There's only a handful of maps that we've been able to test so far. They keep cycling in some new ones. The game itself plays pretty smooth. The graphics. They added this weird feature where you could... The graphics were kind of grainy. And I guess it was to make it feel more warlike or something. There was a guy who they did an interview with one of the developers, and he talked about it. But when the game goes live, it's going to be toggleable, so you can turn it off. But I like it so far. I think the biggest selling point for me is I've been playing World of Tanks for a while now. And when you play, like a friend of ours has a tier 10 tank, highest you can get. When we play, we like to stick around tier 5 because that's where the most fun games are, at least in my opinion. And when I play with him and he drags my tier 5, tier 6 tank into his tier 10 game, I can't hurt anybody. Everything I shoot just bounces off, does no damage, people kill me in one hit, and that's the end of the game. In Mechwarrior Online, every vehicle basically has the option to use any weapon as long as you can have the weight to carry it and be able to dissipate the heat that it generates. So even if you're in the lightest little 20-ton scout mech, you can still damage the most heavily armored 100-ton assault mech in the game. You might not do a lot, but every gun you have will at least be able to hurt him. Now, granted, the thing may have, 5,000 hit points and you're only doing 5 damage a shot, but at least you're hurting it. So I kind of like that aspect, that no matter what you have and what tier you're in, everything is able to damage everything else. I just thought that was kind of neat. Well, that about wraps it up for this week's show. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, you want to be on the show, you can get a hold of us by email. I'm Trueflight at onlinegamingradio.com.
And I'm Zanadi at onlinegamingradio.com.
And do you have any shout-outs?
I can shout out to my new guild in Guild Wars 2.
Alright, well, we'll see everybody in 2 weeks on Monday, November 5th. And we should be live.
I'm on vacation.
Yeah, so we'll be doing it live. Join us in the IRC, and we'll see you there.